I want to talk to you guys today about something quite important that maybe a lot of you can relate to. Let me take a seat here on this hard tree. I want to talk about the stories we tell. The stories we tell. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, the mind is a great storyteller. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but I really challenge you to notice how many thoughts occur per day. Your thoughts will probably stem from stuff you believe is important to totally random to simple thoughts. They're all over the place. The nature of mind can be very chaotic and sporadic. And thoughts are random, coming and going, changing, and very sporadic as well. Once we understand that by some simple investigation, some simple noticing, we'll start to notice how often we listen to the stories of mind. You see, you may notice once you look into mind and thought more that thought is beneficial. And there's some innocent thought like, well, I got to make sure that I get to this appointment. A reminding of yourself, well, I got to make sure I bring the kids to school. But then you also may notice the little narrator. You may notice the thoughts of doubt, the thoughts of fear, the thoughts of judgment and criticizing. And you may think that's you. You may think that those thoughts are you. They seem so real. They seem so personal. And that's what we're here to talk about today. The stories we tell are not real. And if we identify and believe those stories, if we accept those stories as truth, then we lower our vibration. We lower our frequency and we operate at the lowest point, the surface level that we can reach. We remain hypnotized to the programming. We remain a slave to the matrix when we believe these stories. We are creators. But before you can begin creating, you must investigate the nature of reality and the nature of yourself. And creating doesn't occur with simple mantras and repeated phrases. Creating doesn't occur with simple meditations. You must, not forcefully, but you investigate what you really are and who you really are. And you must put aside any beliefs. You must put aside any conclusions and any theories and let direct experience show you. And by doing that, you will come to find that direct experience will instantly clear away all your assumptions if you're honest and open and willing to accept it. The assumptions that we are separate, the assumptions that we are a body, the assumptions that we are limited to this 3D world, this material world, and that this reality is simply based on pure matter. When you investigate it, and I'll have videos on this because they're going to be longer videos because it's just absolutely mind-blowing and profound and just super intriguing to me. But when you investigate it, all of those assumptions will clear up on themselves. Because when you look at your direct experience, none of those assumptions make sense. But yet, when the body is born, when we believe we are born, the human, the avatar, those assumptions are instantly placed within us. They are taught to us and they are never challenged. And challenging those assumptions will lead to the greatest freedom of your life. But when you investigate yourself and you reach this state of understanding, this state of truth, I like to call it, well, then everything will clear itself for you without having to do anything, because you realize that truth is the only thing that exists. And along this investigation, quite early in this investigation, you will realize the power of mind as well. You will realize the power of thought as well. See, the power of mind and the power of thought is actually quite intriguing and is very profound in revealing itself. The more you take a look at it, the more you notice how strong thoughts are. Thoughts can end a life. Thoughts can end a life. This world is thought in manifestation form. These creations of this material world were first thoughts and manifest into this material world. But at the same time, thought and the stories and the narration are powerless. Because when you are a slave to thought, to mind, when you are a slave to it, then you are trapped and you are caged in and you feel like there is no escape. And I've spent many, many years there. Most of my years I've spent a slave to mind. That instead of trusting the universe, instead of trusting life, and instead of trusting my own energy, I had a story about who I was, where I was, and how I was. There was a story about everything. It could be a simple human interaction. It could be the simplest thing, or it could be the most grand thing. No matter what, there was always a story. And I believed the story to be truth. Until you investigate, you do not notice how the story that is playing, the story that is there, is so far from the truth, and it could never be the truth. So we need to notice, and we need to investigate, and we need to pay attention to those stories. We need to pay attention to thought, and we need to pay attention to what we accept and what we believe. And we need to remove the chains off of us that are holding us down to being a slave to thought, to the stories. Because when we accept those stories, we accept it as a lie. We deny the truth, and we surrender to the cage and to the prison. And we do not allow ourselves to be free. We do not trust our pure energy, our divine energy. And that is where we need to reside. Thank you.